What is happening, y'all? Cowboy here, and welcome on back to the walkthrough. Now, in this episode, we're not actually going to be covering a mission. Instead, we're going to be talking about respecking our character and creating a new build. Now, typically I would skip something like this in the series, but in the past when I've done that, people have been just kind of lost at how I'm doing so much more damage. So we're doing this as kind of like an intermission or an auxiliary episode, if you will. So I mentioned that I was going to go ahead and continue leveling up Liu Bei. I did do that, and now you can see I have a exclamation point on deliveries, and by using that, I have now been given a replica of his cherished equipment. Now, like I said, there are a couple different ways that you can go about doing this. In general, for me, the ones that I find the fastest to farm are the Tail Gooey Goozy, just because you're killing one boss, or the Shadow of the Sacred Mountain. This one is especially nice if you need some of the rank 3 mats, like rank 3 leather or steel. You're going to be able to get lots of that, and it's a fast mission. Whichever you choose, going through and doing that and getting the rank up will of course give you a whole new set. Now we're going to go ahead and put that whole set on, and then we're going to go into what is involved with respecking our character. So we have his swords already, the pair swords, and then I believe the mounted swords are going to be different, but I want to check and see the actual moveset. Okay, the mounted swords are going to be the same moveset, so instead we'll go for the spear for our secondary, and we're going to go ahead and we'll break those down. We'll unlock those and we can get rid of them. Alright, so this is our set. This is going to be the basis for our build. Now, we're not going to be all that concerned with our armor, with the exception of the equipment weight. That's going to be the main thing that's important to us with our armor. Our weapon, however, is going to be the main thing we're looking forward to, because the strength of our weapon and what it scales with, that's going to determine how we want to change our stuff. So for now, let's go over here. We're going to upgrade, pump everything we can into this, get all the mats into it. And then we're also going to upgrade this pole spear. That's going to scale with very similar stuff, so it'll be another nice pickup. Now, if you're low on copper, which obviously I have about 100,000, if you have been salvaging stuff up until now, which I have, go to sell, tab over to all, and then right here you should have a ton of jewel fragments. I have over 1,100 left. I had 2,000, so what I did is I literally just came here, sold 1,000 of them, and that's going to be enough to give you pretty much 1,000,000 copper. So right there, that should solve all of your monetary concerns. You shouldn't have any issues. I mean, I sold half my stack, and obviously we're doing just fine. We're cooking. But so we've gone ahead and we've upgraded that. Let's go ahead and also upgrade the armor. We're going to be working with this set for a bit, so I'm fine with fully upgrading it. And this is going to make a really, really big impact in how strong we're going to be in the coming levels. We're going to just be doing much better from a defensive standpoint. We're going to be hitting nice and hard, and all in all, we're going to be looking really good. I would put more into the general man set, but since I do plan on replacing that with Zhao Yun's set, I'm not going to spend my mats leveling that one up. I'm going to leave that just at +1, and it is just a backup set, so I'm not all that concerned about it. Now, coming over here, looking at our equipment, we can see I have a B scaling water here, B scaling water here. I'm going to get a little bit of fire here, I'm going to get a little bit of earth here, and I have some with wood and then some with wood. So based on my two weapons, I'm going to focus on water and I'm going to focus on wood, since they're both going to benefit from those perks. So we're going to go over here, and let's just drop everything on down to 0, and we're going to start fresh here. So the first thing I want to do is my equipment weight. Looking at my equipment weight and the weight threshold, you can see even with that down at 1, I'm gonna be too high there. So at a bare minimum, I would want 4 earth. That is gonna put me into that agility tier that I want. But I already know that I'm gonna want to have at least 8 earth for an earth spell that I really like. So I'm gonna go up to 8 on earth. You know what, actually, let's talk about that before we even start changing our stats around. Let's look at the spells. Let's look at the spells and kind of get an idea on what we want to work with. So I've had Blasting Flare up until now as kind of my fast go-to. I could certainly keep that. Absorb Vitality I liked, but since we're going to be working away from Earth and we're not going to be counting on it all that much, instead, let's focus on wood and let's focus on water and get some good stuff there. Work with completely new spells. So looking at what we have on water, I know Frozen Malice is solid. I'm going to put that on. And then I also really like, where is it at? Frozen Spear Trap, so I'm going to put that on. Over here on the wood side of things, I'm going to put on Barb Conductor. I like that. That has good application. Now over in the Learn category, we have a couple points obviously from leveling up. As I mentioned, we were farming up the Liu set. We are about to unlock some of these abilities. So we're going to save a couple things on standby for unlocks. For Earth, I'm not all that worried about it. I have all the Earth stuff I want, so we're going to be good there. Metal, we're going to be able to pick up Molten Calamity Thorn. Probably not going to use that ability, but I'll go ahead and save a point for that since we're about to unlock it. Water, we're about to unlock Ominous Chill, which we're absolutely going to want. Ominous Chill is crazy, crazy good. So for now, we'll just pick up one, and we're going to save a point for water to unlock this. Over on wood, in a similar fashion, we're going to be able to unlock Barb Nightmare. So let's go ahead, pick up Lightning Weapon, but then leave 1 point for Barb Nightmare. And then in fire, we can unlock Engulfing Inferno shortly. So we'll pick up Flame Weapon and leave 1 point for that. Now we might even have the points to pick this up after we go through the next main level, but as we're about to unlock those spells, and they are kind of like game changers, I think it's worth just making sure that I have a point on standby. Now, so for the build, if I still want to have Imposing Slab around, I'm going to want to have at least 8. But since we're focusing water and wood, let's look at those first. So I know I need to have at least 6 here. This I'm going to need to have 40. So I'm going to really want to be pumping points up so that I can rock Ominous Chill as soon as I unlock it. If I look over at wood, the most important thing there for me is going to be Barb Conductor at 8. So I'm going to get my wood up to 8 for Barb Conductor. Now, obviously, at some point I'm going to want Barb Nightmare as well. But with that also being 40, it's going to be a little bit out of reach for the time being. So instead, I could pick up Spirit Fervor or Cleanse or something else. But we'll still unlock it, just that if we want to respec and do a wood build, we have access. But so the biggest thing here is going to be Ominous Chill. Even though I don't have it yet, I know it's coming up and I want to meet that threshold for it. So since this is primarily going to be a water build, we're going to push our way up to that. So we are going to pull from this. We'll get our equipment weight right where it's at. And let's start pumping up our water. Now we can only get up to 30 for now, and that's with leaving everything else bottomed out. So we don't want to go that low. Instead, we're going to pull from stuff a little bit. I did say I wanted to have a little bit of wood, so we'll put wood at 8. And this will be our new spec loadout. So we can see that we're getting a lot of spirit defense, a lot of spell duration, a lot of stealth. And all in all, this is going to be a pretty comfy start for a water build. We're not going to have the same nuke potential that we had with Earth immediately because we don't have Ominous Chill just yet. But that's okay. So we're going to go over here. Battle preparation, battle set. Take this, save over it. Rename it to water. Save. And now we have our Earth setup that has 30 Earth and our water setup. So pretty straightforward and simple, right? Now we have changed our stats around. We obviously have the we have the stats that we need in water to boost the potency of these swords. However, we are not completely done, which actually I think I need to have on a, let's see, I do need to have on a thing. Damage reduction upon HP recovery or power gain upon deflection. Those are both really good. I have to have this on though. What do I want more? Probably damage reduction upon HP recovery. I think that's going to be better for this particular setup. I'm gonna lock that so I don't accidentally get rid of it. I'm gonna actually just lock all of these so I don't accidentally get rid of them. But so we have our gear on. The next thing we want to do is we want to customize our gear and get it to a point that feels really good with this character.
I could use some more sleep.
So over here, we are going to go to embedment. We're going to go to our pair swords. We're going to choose the slot. Haste upon martial arts. That's a pretty good perk, so we'll actually leave that on. We're going to remove damage to enemies with shock and remove copper of attention. Where is it at? Attack power. Spear is locked, so we'll unlock that. And we're going to remove all 3 of these off of it. Okay. And then the same thing. We're going to go to our armor. And we're going to remove I keep doing the wrong thing. Go choose embedding slot, and then you can either hit X and confirm. Alternatively, you can just hold X to extract. Which actually wanted that perk, but it's okay. We're going to be going through, and God, I really got to stop doing that. Choose embedding slot. So for right now, with this build, let's get all this stuff off, and then we'll talk about it. But we are going to build probably around damage and perfect condition, because that's kind of how this build functions. It's all about having constantly having healing coming in and topping up, and so we're going to look to amplify that and how potent that is, which is going to really kind of flesh this out and make it really strong. But you can see, looking at the set, like toxin damage, we're not using toxin at all with this set. Chill accumulation isn't bad, but like earth phase, spell, spirit consumption, that's not helping me at all. So there's really no point in having that. And of course we can't change anything on these, so don't bother with them. But so looking at the gear, we have a health boost, we have HP recovery upon deflection, we have spirit damage taken is going to be spirit damage taken, and damage dealt in perfect condition is going to be increased, and damage taken is decreased. And then we have spirit fervor upon HP recovery. So let's look at the synergies we have so far. So right here, this is damage reduction upon HP recovery, so obviously we're going to use that because that's going to be fantastic. And then over here we have spirit fervor upon HP recovery, which is going to ramp up our spirit gain very fast. Now looking at the swords, based upon martial arts and damage dealt in perfect condition, those are really solid perks. Those are perks that are just they're gonna feel good with this build. So I'm aiming to stay around perfect condition. So looking at our gear here, I'm going to go over to the embedment tier, and just across the board, what I like to do first is pick a red perk. Now in general, let's see if we have any rare perks, which are gonna be kind of closer to the bottom, and I don't. So if I wanted to be elemental, I could do water damage. Instead, with something like this, I am going to go spirit damage dealt in perfect condition. Since this whole build is based around keeping your health topped off, we're going to take that. And see, the thing is, it's a lot of the spirit damage dealt in perfect condition compared to other stuff. I mean, you can see just regular spirit damage is 2.6, spirit damage in perfect condition is 4.5, but it obviously comes with a constraint of us needing to keep our health full, so that's something to consider. If you're worried about keeping your health topped off, you might not want to go for all perfect condition perks. We do have the ability to heal with this build. On top of anytime we get a deflect, we're going to heal, and so we're going to be looking for ways to amplify that. But just, I don't want y'all feeling pressured to have to do a perfect condition build. But so we have the perfect condition. The next thing I want to do is look for another pure symbol. So we have our arrows here. These are going to be damage received. Spirit damage received, spirit damage taken in perfect condition, spirit damage, that's desperate condition, which means you're like critical health. Now, I am not going to be that worried about incoming damage because we are blocking a lot. So using this spirit damage taken in perfect condition, we could do that, and that's going to minimize the spirit losses that I could take. But keep in mind, I have 3 more slots. So looking through what else we could get, we could do chill accumulation or shock accumulation. We could do positive effect duration. That's going to allow our buffs to go up just that much longer. We have spirit gain. We're of course going to want a spirit gain perk. That's going to be very useful for us. Restore HP, some good synergy with this build. So for now, at least, let's focus on our spirit gain from normal attacks. I personally find that to be more useful than the cost reducers, because I'd rather be able to dictate how much spirit I'm pulling in. So I'm going to go ahead and put spirit gain from normal attacks on everything. Now, if I had a spirit gain in perfect condition, I'd of course put that on, because that's just going to play into the theme of this build. Spirit gain from normal attacks across the board on everything. Okay, so everything's looking really clean right now. So the helm and the gloves usually have a unique perk. So I'm kind of curious. I want to look at our final tier here and see what the unique perks would be. Let's see what I have available. So damage reduction upon wizardry spell and spirit fervor upon fatal strike. So in terms of the helm, I'm not sure I need that because I already have spirit fervor upon HP recovery. And then as for damage reduction, we already have damage reduction upon HP recovery. So I'm not going to put either of those things on the helm. I'm already going to have a way to get that damage reduction perk off. I could certainly do that, and it's just going to give me more of that damage reduction, but I don't feel it's going to be necessary here. So there's also ammo retrieval upon ranged attack. Not all that concerned with that, so I'm not going to worry about it. Taking a look at the gloves. Let's see what we have on the gloves. Power gain upon deflecting a critical blow. Now that's something that could be really nice. The idea is I deflect a crit and I'm gonna get a damage buff. So we're gonna go ahead and grab that as a unique. We'll put that on and get ourselves the purple square. So now going back to matching everything, we have damage dealt in perfect condition. We have good spirit gain. What else is gonna synergize with this build? Well, we know this build is going to be all about getting our health up and constantly healing. So the restore HP perk, this is going to increase how much health is coming in. And it seems like a very minimal amount early on, but when you consider stacking this all up, we're going to get a extra 5 to 10% or so when we consider it all together, which doesn't seem like all that much, but in the scheme of things, if we're healing for 11 instead of 10, that's just one more little tick of health that's going to come on in. And sometimes that's all it's going to take to put us into perfect condition. So we're going to be aiming to boost that HP restoration across the board, just giving us even more HP. This is of course going to also synergize with some other stuff that we have available, like our HP on deflect. So now we have a couple slots left over. Going up to the top, choose an embedding slot. We can see what's left. We could go for attack power, and we could increase the attack power of ice. We could decrease the spirit damage that we're going to take while we're blocking. We could go for accumulation. We could go for utility, something like divine beast gauge gain. That wouldn't be a bad choice at all there. And then we have all of our other stuff that's grayed out. So for this particular build, I would probably go. I'm going to be working with buffs, so let's go positive effect duration. We're just going to increase how long our buffs last. I think that'll be nice. Checking to see if there's any other uniques that are here. I'm not seeing any, so we'll go positive effect duration again. And then lastly, on the Mana Benevolence Crown, there is one unique that I noticed a second ago, and that is enemy detection, and this is super nice. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that on. I don't believe I have that on any of my current accessories. I do not. All right, so now looking across the board, very simple the way we took this up. We got more spirit damage in perfect condition, really good spirit gain, better HP restoration, and then we're going to increase the duration of our buffs. We have a unique with gaining a power boost when we deflect a crit, and then of course we have a unique in being able to see enemies on the map. Now going on over to our weapons, it's time to also kind of supplement. So we already have a unique haste upon martial arts on this. Let's go ahead and see what else we got. We don't have anything here that would really work in. So just go for a regular red, and we're going to look for damage dealt in perfect condition. Spirit damage dealt in desperate. So we have damage dealt in perfect 4.2 or spirit damage dealt. Now personally, I am a big fan of spirit damage. Spirit damage is going to be what pushes enemies into that state where we can get a critical blow. So I'd rather go for spirit damage dealt, but this is very much going to be a preference here. I'm much bigger on spirit damage than I am on regular damage. So I'm going to go spirit damage dealt in perfect condition. This one has regular damage dealt in perfect condition that's locked, so we're going to make this more physical based and we'll make this more spirit based. Now this already has the set bonus, so I only have one more on here. I could of course remove the haste upon martial arts, but looking at what else we could put on here, probably going to go for spirit. So we'll go spirit gain from normal attacks or from deflecting. In this case, I'll probably lean for just flat out spirit gain, because that's going to help my gain from normal attacks and my gain from deflecting. And I'd rather have a general boost all around on my spirit gain, where it's going to impact both of those things than just one. So we have spirit damage, spirit gain, and then we're going to have a haste proc anytime we do the martial art, which will be nice because this has endless flowering, a unique martial art, which is going to do a bunch of damage. And then the secondary one that we have there, of course, Beckoning Pine, should also be pretty useful. I can't get the movie to play for some reason. Oh well. As for our wooden poled spear, so this has damage dealt in perfect condition already. Let's look at what else we're going to fit onto this. Now that's gonna be our red, so we can't put anything else on there in the red category. And so because of that, we're going to be limited to some pretty straightforward stuff. Let's go for spirit gain, same as before. We could go for HP restoration, boost that up even further. And then for the last one, we could go for spell duration, just further amplify how long our spells are going to last. And that's just obviously going to synergize along with that positive effect duration is just buffs, whereas spell duration I think is positive and negatives. Elements bestowed by the users, yes, the elements are considered negative. So that should also keep statuses up on the enemy. But so now looking at that, I have two weapons that are both at 242. So whether I want to rock the swords or rock the spear, both of these are going to do a substantial amount of damage. I have a couple of spells set up, one being obviously the heal to help keep my health topped up. We got the barb on, being able to throw that on out and then detonate it to shock enemies. We got some of the ice spells set on, and all in all, we're in a pretty good spot for this build. So all the gear is done. We're gonna go battle prep again, and I'm just going to save this one more time, which shouldn't be necessary, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I didn't do a divine beast, so we still have killing on, which doesn't really make all that sense. For this build, I'd either want King Long or Bai's. Bai's has fatal strike damage, which is going to be really nice, but King Long synergizes more with that restore HP. So it's not going to do a ton of damage, but it's going to come in and it's going to top off my health anytime I need it to, which is just going to keep me in that perfect condition. It's going to help keep my allies alive. Alternatively, I could go for Bai's. Bai's is going to come in and fire off icicles at a bunch of enemies and help inflict that cold. Right now, at least, because we don't have access to our super heavy nuke with water, I believe King Long is going to be a safer bet all around. So we'll put him on, and then once again go over here, save over, and now we have a water set and we have an earth set, and we can freely swap between these as needed. So just to see how things worked out, let's go and we'll go over here. We'll do the Tale of Gooey Goozy and use this as kind of a test dummy encounter to see how well things work. Just keep in mind, Ominous Chill is our nuke, and currently at least we don't have our nuke. So our initial upfront damage may not be as high as it was, but it should do just fine. I think we're still going to hit really hard here. He's already chilled. See the health bar really climbing up with this setup. Obviously, getting that one critical instantly put us on up. Let's put down some of the frost traps. Third frost trap to instantly chill them again. So from that one fight, couple things that we have as a takeaway. So where we're at right now, we have a ton of healing coming in. So we're going to easily be able to maintain that perfect condition. I can see that much for sure. In terms of our burst, we're certainly missing burst, but we knew that up front. We knew we're waiting on ominous chill. So the big thing is going to be pumping as many points as possible into water to get to ominous chill. And we may even take points away from wood. Keep in mind that if we want to really focus on the water spells for now and push that even higher, which, you know, may be worthwhile, we could drop this down to 3 just to pick up that heal. And we're going to put this on over into there. You can see very minor differences. We're losing a little bit of spirit defense and spell duration, but we're gaining damage. And perhaps the most important thing is we're getting ourselves closer to that 40 mark.
I trust you'll be back.
Is getting up to that 40 mark is going to be what we really want for this build. Get that ominous chill and pump that damage. So with that change, what I would end up doing from here is I'd go back, I would fight that same fight again. You know, for example, well, let me just do it. I know this is already the intermission episode. So one thing I noticed before is my ice traps were very close to proccing ice with 2, but not quite. And that's something I really want. I want to be able to throw down 2 ice traps and instantly chill the target, because that's just going to keep them locked down. So now let's see what things look like. We may be able to actually pull that off now that we have more moved on over. So since we're not going to be worrying about applying shock as a status for the time being, I'm going to go over to wizardry spells and instead remove that. Over on Earth, how much do we have on Earth? No, let's go for Quakebound, actually. Quakebound is nice. Every time I get a deflect, it's going to build up stone. That'll be a nice buff to have with a build like this, where we're obviously very deflect-centric. So same exact fight. I'm going to do those double ice traps, and I can see now I am able to apply that frost very early in the fight. Gonna with that frostbolt. And I couldn't have asked for a better demonstration. So perfect example. We wanted to try pulling from wood a little bit too early there. We put some points into wood. We saw our water spells and we said, you know what, we're just barely off hitting that chill. I really want to be able to apply chill to the target. Let's go ahead, let's make the sacrifice in wood and put a little bit more in ice. And I think seeing that, you can see that there was a definitive difference. We were able to get the chill off in 2 traps. The second time we tried to apply the status, we didn't get it off in 2 traps, but we were able to just toss out an immediate frostbolt and finish it on off. And overall, I mean, the fight wasn't...
I could use some more sleep.
It wasn't rough the first time,
I'm overworking.
but it definitely went even smoother the second time. So big difference in how smooth the fight went. Either way, I'm not really a fan of how this armor looks, so I'm also going to decorate it. I'm going to decorate and go for the King Long set because that looks super badass. And that is where we are going to wrap things up. So as for the next episode, the next one's going to be a big one. We're making our way on into the capital, and probably the biggest reason it's going to be a big one is after we get through the capital, we unlock those additional sorcery spells, namely our super mega ice nuke that will cause us to destroy entire worlds. It's going to be nice to have that. But either way, we are wrapping things up here, having gone through the respec and everything that you should know. Like I said, once you've done this, keep in mind, this isn't a done deal. Whereas in Souls, this is, you know, hey, you're not strength anymore, you're something else. It's not how things work here. So I'm going to go here, save over it, we have our set. And keep in mind, all we got to do is hit apply, and now we are right back to that Earth build that we were. And that's what's so nice about this, is even as we continue to play the game and we continue to move forward, now we have 2 sets that are ready to go at any given time, where we can swap between a water build or an Earth build on the fly. Last thing to talk about, if for some reason you've leveled up, if you've leveled up and you haven't reapplied to your battle set, like for example, just going here, this is 34 and this is 33. When I go back to the 33 version, it's going to look like I lost a stat point. That's not actually ever the case. If you go back over here to Chao Si and talk to him, go to reset parameters, right there where it says undistributed virtue, you're going to have one waiting for you. And that's going to signify that basically you took a battle set that was under your level, so he's just holding your stuff in storage for you. So yeah, if you're missing anything, go over there. But otherwise, we are going to wrap things up here. We will continue in the next part with a whole new zone and a whole new boss, and I will see you then.